Okay. Hi, everybody. I want to speak about Chapter 9 in Lust, in the Lust text, information about the acquisition of syntax in young children, babies, actually. She refers to the acquisition of syntax research that she cites in the Chapter 9. As influenced by syntax, influenced by the hidden skeleton of language, hidden skeleton, which refers to the structure of syntax that I've asked you to give some thought to, this chunkiness or organization of sentences. Let's take a second and remind ourselves what that is in my format. Let me reduce that and go to this slideshow here, a different one on this current slide. And if you remember, you have a project. Your final project is to organize sentences that your child produces according to this format. This is the syntax of a typical English sentence, where the syntax in any sentence will be organized according to noun, phrase, subject, and verb, phrase, predicate. And within any subject, there can be a head, which will be the main noun or pronoun, and a complement, or the object of the head, which could be an embedded clause of one sort or another, or something else. And the verb, phrase, predicate. And that too, any phrase can have a head and a complement attached to it. So there'll be a verb always that's the head of a predicate of a sentence in English or any language in the world, quite frankly. Universally, languages are headed by noun, phrase, subjects, nouns in context of a noun, phrase, subject. And predicates are headed by verbs. The main word will be a verb in a verb, phrase, predicate. And in addition to that, there may be an object of the sentence that is a complement attached to the head of the verb phrase. So you have your sentence, the boy ate the cookie, in which the subject is the boy, head noun is boy, predicate is ate the cookie, head word is verb is ate, and its object is a direct object, the cookie, which is the complement. See that? Now in another such sentence, the boy who was hungry had eaten the cookie. That's a way more complicated sentence, a bit of a more complicated sentence. You have a complicated subject. You still have the boy as the head, but you also have an embedded clause called a relative clause, right? Because it's a complement of this head and it's part of the noun, phrase, subject. In other words, it's a chunk of something, who was hungry, a clause, that merges with boy, that organizes with boy. The predicate is eat the cookie, where the head is eat, it's the boy, eat, it's the boy, eat the cookie, right? And that has the head of eat and the complement of cookie, again, a direct object, noun, phrase, complement, object and complement I'm using. So I am using synonymously. In addition, both in the first sentence, the boy ate the cookie, and the second sentence, the boy who was hungry had eaten the cookie. In both cases, there's one other thing here, tense, which I'm the inflection or auxiliary. In the boy ate the cookie, where's tense? Well, it went on to the verb and this is an irregular verb, so eat became ate. So I make a note here, tense. But if he didn't eat, if it became a negative sentence, then it would become didn't eat, and tense would come off of ate and become an auxiliary. Tense can always be expressed in English as an auxiliary or as a morpheme bound to the verb. In the boy who was hungry had eaten the cookie, the en in eaten and the had here, these things, they are tense too. Had is an auxiliary. It's past perfect, isn't it? In addition, so that's the tense, by the way, the whole sentence is referred to by Chomsky as an inflectional phrase because the head of a sentence is time, tense, and the rest of it sets up as the IP. I don't want to go into it from the. I'm intentionally avoiding the picture of it as a tree structure. I'm just simply saying. So notice that a sentence, the invisible skeleton of any sentence is its noun phrase subject part that has a head and a complement. That's a skeleton of, doesn't matter what the sentence is being said, underlying that sentence are these chunks and subchunks. And a verb phrase predicate, that's a chunk with subchunks, kind of like a Lego set. And tense. Then there are other chunks too, like CP, a piece of a sentence that happens in an invisible part of the invisible skeleton at the beginning. So if you want to make the sentence into a question in English, did the boy eat the cookie? You don't know for sure. Did, you take ate, the in tense comes off of ate, becomes did, and moves. Things can move into CP. They could move into the slot at the beginning of the sentence, a slot in your mind that prior to that noun phrase subject, when it's spoken in your mind, it's simply a slot. Things can be moved there. Or if you don't know what the kid ate the bleh, you don't hear it. You say, what did the boy eat? Well, you took the complement and moved that up into CP, and you took did off of ate, you took tense off of ate, moved that into CP, so you had what did the boy eat, leaving a trace or a copy of the complement unsaid. Following me? What did the boy who was hungry eat? You can do the same thing with the second sentence. You can move stuff up here into the slot as you do in a question form. That's the hidden, this part up here that I wrote, these categorical structures, these chunky things that apply to any sentence that you speak, but that are left on, these things here represent the way the mind is organized to create sentences. So this is the hidden skeleton that let's go back now to the other PowerPoint, the one I'm using today here. That hidden skeleton, that is what chapter 9 addresses. Wait a second, I'm having trouble finding it. Chapter 9 addresses, what the heck? In lust. Back to chapter 9, I wiped it out. What do you know? So what she studies is what evidence do we, chapter 9 is about the evidence that we have from babies that they may be sensitive to this structure to this hidden skeleton and may be aware of it, not aware of it, wrong, may be operating with reference to it, maybe not aware, of course not aware, the whole entire human race isn't aware of it, even you and I, until we study it as speech-language pathologists or as researchers such as Chomsky. It's hidden in our mind, yet it guides our behavior. Well, at what age does this hidden structure begin to guide baby's behavior, have an influence on baby's behavior? That's the question addressed in chapter 9. Let's pause for a moment. I'll let you reflect on that and I'll continue.